Teaching in a time of crisis. When I reflect on my teaching journey, I find that my classroom has become very constructivist over the years. Constructivism is a psychological orientation whose followers contend that students are not passive recipients of the teacher's knowledge, but are capable of constructing their own understandings. Vygotsky further argued that the social environment of the classroom has a heavy influence on student learning. I agree that social interactions are very relevant within the classroom because they shape the learning experiences and impact what each student takes away from the lesson and/or task. I strongly believe that learning something from a peer will last longer in a learner's memory than learning that from an authority figure. With my advanced students, I often let them explore and experiment with language in pairs or small groups before I step in to offer guidance or corrections. My students feel valued when I ask them to express their questions and opinions to each other. Our classroom is a community of learners. But how have the current conditions during the COVID-19 pandemic affected my practices and goals? Following government guidelines, my institute initiated a 1-week work-from-home period during which all of our teacher training classes went online. Luckily, my colleagues and I had attended a Google Classroom workshop in January, so we were all familiar with the platform. Combined with my background in video editing and a deep belief in the power of scripting, I used Screencastify to record my lessons with ease. I modeled my online course after courses I myself had taken on FutureLearn, a massive open online course learning platform. I was confident and optimistic. However, our teacher trainees found the switch to online learning stressful and overwhelming. Suddenly, they were expected to log on to Google Classroom 3 hours a day for their lectures and assignments. Assignments that were originally devised with lots of peer interaction and immediate teacher feedback. But they were all self-isolating in their homes. Many of them are young women with families to take care of. One of my students told me that she had lost weight due to the constant housework and homework that she had to do during that week. I was forced to reevaluate my practices in light of their current needs. Where I had once envisioned my students calling each other and doing speaking activities over the phone, I realized that this was asking too much of them. I scaled back my content. I made in-class activities optional. In my first lesson, I had assigned each student a selection of sentences for them to record and then send to me for feedback through KakaoTalk. Every single person did it. But the next day, the messages flooded in. They were overworked and overwhelmed. In my second lesson, I made these recordings optional. 4 people out of 18 did it. I was heartbroken, but I understood. I wish that I had been more familiar with Zoom then, so I could check in with them in real time and remind them that I was still there for them and still eager to help them and to push them to help each other. I could have easily done my lectures in Zoom and then split them into smaller groups to complete the speaking activities. But what's done is done, and to maintain my own mental health, I can't be too hard on myself. I know I did the best I could given the circumstances, and so did our trainees. Luckily, these online classes only altered 2 of my 11 lessons in my pronunciation course. If it had been more than that, I'm not sure I would have been so quick to abandon my student-centered principles. My heart goes out to all the educators who are currently finding themselves in a tug-of-war between their philosophical objectives and their students' emotional needs. In a time of crisis, there is no way to know which choices are for the best. We simply have to trust our instincts, communicate with our colleagues and students, and be consistent in our methods and choices. In this time of crisis, not only did I scale back the expectations for our trainees, but I also scaled back expectations for myself. Right now, on my office cubicle, I have 3 things listed to help me through this time. 1. Set priorities. 2. Be consistent. 3. Show compassion. Stay strong. Keep going. We are in this together, and we will get through it. Now, more than ever, I am so grateful for KOTESOL and teachers helping teachers. We can do this together.